Welcome, guys, to our team call for Tuesday, May 22nd. I can't believe the month is almost over. Like, didn't May just start? And here we are, almost done. And with 1 month to summit, guys, 1 month to the biggest event of the year. And we have so many amazing launches that we can't wait to get ready for with Lift 4, Mes de Mas, so much going on, to be mindset in full swing. And there's something kind of scary because we're talking to so many people. We're talking to so many people about their goals. And there's always that like little bit of hesitation where, am I taking my business in the right direction? Am I doing things the right way? And that's why we wanted to bring in a powerhouse to lead tonight's team call. Carmen Melgoza-Gutierrez is a one-star diamond coach, but she's taken her business full-time within the last year. And get this, guys, for the last 8 months, she's been helping at least 30 people a month change their life. And here we are, like three people. But Carmen's been getting at least 30 people a month for the last 8 months. And we just recently had a shout out in the Team Beachbody Latino page, and she's leading the pack. Like, she's up there, like, helping so many people. And here's the really interesting thing about Carmen right now is that she made a decision recently. She was only marketing in the Latino market, but she made a decision to take her business bilingual. And that's scary because I know how I feel when I start speaking Spanish. I feel like, no one's, you always have that fear of rejection. And you put yourself in a really vulnerable position to make yourself that uncomfortable. But with that discomfort comes a lot of growth. So if she's putting herself out there and she's currently killing it, I want to know all about her and about everything she's doing so I can follow those steps, because success leaves clues. Carmen, why don't you take it away and talk to us tonight?
Oh my goodness! With that, welcome. I'm nervous now. No, you know what? And actually, I think this is that second call that I do in English. So obviously Spanish is my first language, and that's where I feel comfortable. But again, when you were talking about going into a different market, it was like, Carmen, it's time to get out of your comfort zone. Spanish is very comfortable for me. I feel very confident speaking my language, but I'm getting used to now practicing more English and like reaching out to more girls, because I'm bilingual, and yeah, my English is not perfect, but hey, Sofia Vergara English is not perfect, and she's doing it in Hollywood, right? So why not Carmen can do it in Beachbody with two in both markets, right? So thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. We recently started working together with one of the ethnic peaks into coaching, and I just love the energy that I got from all of you, that I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? Why am I only doing working with a Latino market that speak only Spanish? And actually you guys inspired me to cross the line and start now reaching out to the Latinos that are like me, that are bilingual, that we may still be learning English, but we need help when it comes to healthy lifestyle. We need help when it comes to becoming more secure. And thinking about that, I was like, I need to, and I cannot be thinking only about myself and like how afraid I am sometimes to try to create conversations in English or post. I'm not perfect, and most likely, well, I think 99% of the time you will find a lot of mistakes on my typing in English, even in Spanish. So I was like, I'm not perfect. And I think that's the beauty about this business, that when you project yourself like the way you are, that's when people start feeling attracted to you. And that's when people start following you. So you were talking about how within the last year I made it happen. But before I go into that, let me tell you a little bit about my story, so you kind of get an idea of who's this girl. Well, as we were talking at the beginning of the call, my journey with Beachbody started as a corporate employee. I used to work for Beachbody. When I started working for Beachbody, the company was very small. It was only about 80 employees. And I was there for about 3.5 years. So I saw the company growing from 80 employees to over 400 employees. I mean, right now I think there are over 1,000 employees. So it was it was amazing to see that growth. And at the same time, that's when I started my healthy lifestyle. I became pro of the product. I had access to Shakeology for free. I had access to all the programs. I was able to work out with some of the celebrity trainers that will come to the office. And now, and my profession is accounting. So I had the most boring job. And of course, always sitting behind a desk, typing. I gained weight, and I was one of those girls that tried everything to lose weight, and nothing worked. And until working at Beachbody, I had access to the workouts that I learned how to eat healthy, and then the results came, and that's kind of my transformation. So I lost over 50 pounds, and at that time, I was like so passionate about this lifestyle that I was talking to everybody outside the company. I was inspiring people. So I was a coach without being compensated for it. And it was funny because back then, Carl used to send like birthday messages to employees. And I remember one of his cards, which I don't even know where that card is. I wish I will have it right now. And one of the birthday cards, he said, you know, happy birthday. We're so proud of all the work that you're doing. And I love that you're like an advocate for all that we do in social media. And he kind of made a comment that it seems like I work on the network marketing department instead of the accounting department. So that made me realize, oh my God, you know what? Actually, it's true. I'm like a coach. And I saw the checks that coaches were getting. So that was like a motivation. I was like, oh my goodness, seriously, can people make the money just sharing what they're doing? And I'm doing, and I'm not getting that money. So that was kind of like the beginning of me thinking outside the box and like thinking, why not me? I want to be a coach. So I started looking into it. And at that time, I was trying to be part of a group where there was Latinas. And the Latina that was making it, that was like, that the name was everywhere, was Barbie. And still it is. So I actually reached out to Barbie and I asked her, like, how can I do it? I want to be part of your team. I'm leaving Beachbody. I decided to leave the company because I couldn't be an employee and I couldn't be a coach at the same time. So I had to give my accounting position. So at that time I left and I became a coach. I've been in the business for over 6 years. At the beginning, it was so easy and like I was like in the momentum and I became a diamond within a month. But life got in the way, like sometimes happen to us. So, and then I kind of lost focus. So many things happened in my personal life. So I got distracted, but at the same time, Beachbody actually was what saved me from that situation. Doing all the self-development, which back then I had no idea what was self-development. I had no idea what was to have a vision. I didn't know none of that. But going through some personal problems, I always remember like that they will say like personal development. So I started getting into books. And actually one of the books that I say it changed my life, and that's the book that I recommend to every single person that is part of my groups, is this book, is the 4 Agreements. And we have in English and Spanish. So the 4 Agreements. And I read this book so many times until I start putting in practice the 4 Agreements. And that's actually what saved me from the place where I was. And I started like going back again into like, I kept doing accounting because obviously at the moment I was not where I wanted to be and money wasn't there. So I kept doing accounting, but I knew that I wasn't happy doing accounting anymore. So I kept working very hard. And to be honest, I was not treating this like a business. I was treating like a hobby. And therefore the results were like a hobby, you know? I was going nowhere. Until I decide, okay, what am I doing? You know, I have an amazing opportunity here. So many people are doing amazing things with life, and why not me? So I started working very hard, and I was still in accounting, but I wasn't happy with my job. When you do so much self-development, you can sense all the negative energy around you. And that was not a place where I wanted to be. It was like come home and I will be all stressed and like with all that negative vibe. That to me, that was a motivation. And I was like, I had to make this work. Why is it not working? Well, it wasn't working because I was not working the business like I needed to do. And I know I was always waiting for that aha moment, because everybody was talking about, oh, I got my aha moment. I was like, what is that? Why is not coming to me? Where is it? Until finally at actually at one of the coach summits, because I've been to every single coach summit, first as an employee and then as a coach. And there was one where I was like, okay, Carmen, what's going on? What is it you need to do to get out of the place where you're stuck? And I realized it's just take action and really do the simple things, the 4 vital behaviors, listen to my coach, make sure that I was coachable, and not let ego get in the way. Because honestly, that was kind of what's holding me back. Me thinking, well, I know better. I'm Latina. I know how to work the market. But then I wasn't seeing the results. So I had to sit back and really reflect on all the things that I was doing. And I realized that, yes, I was becoming a walking Bible with so many audiobooks and books. But it was pointless when I was not putting that in practice. So it was kind of hard to reflect on that and take responsibility and also start coming with a plan. Okay, now what is it that I needed to do? And I knew that I needed to be more vocal on social media, not only about the challenge and becoming like helping people to live a healthy lifestyle, but also start thinking about people that I wanted to attract to work with me as part of my team. And so my wedding was coming in August last year, and I was like, I had to make this happen. I'm gonna say goodbye to my boss, and I need to focus 100% on the business. I believe in myself, and I know I can do it. So August 2017, before like a week before my wedding, I said, you know what? I'm gonna go all in. And I'm gonna do my best. And I start working very hard, and obviously helping so many people, inspiring people to also become grow bosses. It helped me to move my business forward. So the income now was there. Now I was replacing the income from accounting now with coaching. But all of this was because I was working very hard. You know, I was sacrificing sometimes to sleep. I was sleeping 6 hours maybe. I was being more intentional when I connected in social media, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys a little more about, social media. And then I was just doing it. And something that I did, it was put some blanks on. I was very distracted with all the coaches, and I was like, let me see what Ivy is doing. Let me see what all these Latina coaches that were having success were doing. But I was like, wait, I'm wasting so much time trying to see what they're doing when I already know what to do. Why am I doing that? You know? So I decided from now on, I'm not going to see anyone. I may see some coaches just to get some inspiration or some ideas, but at the end of the day, I'm projecting who I am in social media. And I think that's one of the keys, and that's very important. So, but before I jump into a little bit social media, another amazing thing that happened within this year of becoming a full-time coach was I told my husband, okay, if you really want to do this full-time, let's work together to make this happen, because I knew that he was very unhappy with his job. We live in a big city, so commuting to his job, sometimes it took him 2 hours when it was normally 30 minutes. So he was very frustrated, and that was affecting a little bit our relationship, because he will get home tired, bored, like annoyed for the traffic and all of that. So we talked and was like, okay, look, if I'm doing it, if you help me, we can do it too, and we can do this together. And we made a commitment. He started getting more involved in the business, and now we are success partners, life partners, we're everything. And we made it happen. So actually, it's almost 3 months that he also became a full-time coach. So now we both are doing it full-time. And honestly, we're very proud of everything that we're doing, because when we decide to go all in, we also analyze everything that we were doing. and we decide, okay, if we really need to make a change and be able to impact so many lives, we had to see what's not working. And what wasn't working, it was the way we were thinking when it came to helping people. I wasn't really thinking about helping people. I was thinking points, I was thinking commission, I was thinking prices, and that wasn't really helping. So honestly, it was a mindset change. And actually, I have in front of my computer, I have this photo that say cambiando vidas, changing lives. And we use this as like our mantra. And we, like, when we think about, okay, so what are the goals for the month? Because we sit together and we think about what we want to accomplish on the month. We say, okay, we're going to help 20 people. We say help people, and we say 20 people. We don't say we want 40 Success Club points. We say 20 people. So I started with that. And then I saw that the first month I was able to do it. And actually, when we first started was, I think back in October or something like that. And then in November, there was like a contest where if you're one of the top producers of your region, you're going to get a note from Carl and $100 bill. And guess what? And I have it in front of me. It's a reminder. And I still have here the note and the $100. And it's a motivation to make sure that we keep focusing on the right thing, and that our mindset is always online with what we really want from the bottom of our hearts. So, which is changing people's life, talking to people about what we do. But what better way to do it than through social media, right? Through social media. And sometimes that's where many coaches, and still some of my coaches, get stuck because they don't know how to invite people. They don't know how to reach out to a new audience. And I think the most important thing when it comes to social media is first, think about who you are. Who you are, which other people call it your avatar. Write the list of all the things that you like. Write the things that you want to share, so other people feel attracted to you. And I started doing that, and I was like, okay, so Carmen, who's Carmen? Okay, Carmen likes fashion. Carmen likes, she's very Mexican and she loves cooking. So I do a lot of videos where I show like some healthy recipes. And then I was like, okay, so who else is Carmen? So I started going through the list of first thinking, who is Carmen? And how I'm going to post so my posts stand out. And I start just thinking outside the box and trying to be more creative with the way I invite people. You will never see me posting. I mean, to some coaches, it works to show products and show Shakeology and show all of that. It may work for them, but for me, it wasn't working. So it's like, no, Carmen is not Shakeology. Carmen is not To Be Mindset. Carmen is somebody that is living this lifestyle that is helping her. So how can I invite? So for example, right now that we had To Be Mindset, which actually Carlos mentioned something to me yesterday that like they were looking at some reports, and my name was one of the top sellers for To Be Mindset in the Latino community. And I was like, oh my God, that's so amazing. So I was like, okay. So he's like, what's working for you, Carmen? I was like, I love curiosity, and I apply the concept of curiosity marketing. I like to give people information, but not everything. So they're wondering, and they're like just around like, what's next? What else is Carmen gonna tell me? So, I mean, and something as simple as changing the name of the programs. I don't call it To Be Mindset. I call it La Escuelita de Nutrición. And just with that, so many people were like, ooh, Escuelita de Nutrición, what is that? What is that? You know, and they keep asking, but I take all those conversations to the back, and that's where I explain, and I explain everything, and I make sure they understand that what is To Be Mindset, which is To Be Mindset, but I don't say it on social media, so it sounds fun. It sounds like, oh, La Escuelita. It reminds me of El Chavo del Ocho, right? So you have to, like, first of all, know who your audience is, so that way you know how to post, and that way you start attracting the people that you want to help. Because to be honest, we don't want to help everybody. we have a niche market, right? We have specific people that we want to work with. So when it comes to social media, it's very important that, like I said, you come up with a list of who you are, think outside the box, because so many people are talking to be mindset, to be mindset, to be mindset. And guess what? Some people may not reach out to you, and they go and look in Google and be like, what's to be mindset? Because people are talking about it. And some people are kind of afraid to ask, and, you know, and they may end up getting to be mindset just because you told them about to be mindset, but you never did a call to action. And that's another thing that I make sure that all my posts are providing value and are showing who am I. I'm funny sometimes. So usually on Thursdays, on Wednesdays, I put funny quotes or a photo that I found that it make me laugh, so I post it. And even with little simple things like that, you start attracting the people that are kind of like you. And some people may find that phrase funny. Other people will be like, what is this? Okay, fine. That means you don't get me. So we may not be able to work together because there may not be a connection. So it's always thinking outside the box, knowing who your audience is. And you have to also evaluate almost every week. Okay, what's my plan for the week when it comes to social media? How are you going to post? How many times are you going to post? It's super important to be consistent on social media. And I think you all know that. And I don't think I'm going to be telling you anything new, because you have amazing leaders here that are doing an amazing job. But I mean, it's definitely very important to have a plan of action, because you may end up thinking that, oh, I'm working the business. But being in front of Facebook with your Facebook open, it doesn't mean that you're working your business. You may get distracted with so many notifications. You may get distracted with so many groups. There's so many groups out there even for coaches. But if you have a plan and you know, okay, at this time I'm gonna go to Coaches Latinos and see what's new there. And then at this time I'm gonna go to my team group and see what's going on there. So and obviously be present on your groups if you have groups. So when you start doing things more in a more organized way, you start producing and you start seeing results, and you feel more productive, and then you're producing if you see results, you're gonna get more confident, and you will be like, oh my God, this is working. Of course it's working, because you're working in a more productive way. And so I always make sure that we have a plan when it comes to social media. And usually it has to be with who am I. I use hashtags that are like that kind of describe Carmen a little bit. So when people see it, they know. And actually, I'm kind of known by that hashtag girl, because for everything I use hashtag Jefas Latinas, hashtag socios, hashtag everything, hashtag that, So, but like I say, having a plan, you have to evaluate, okay, I posted this, what's working, what's not working. And then make sure you make changes, because social media is changing. My God, Facebook is crazy. Fan pages are not getting as much engagement as they used to. I used to get like, one time I got over like 2,000 views. Like 2,000 people were like live. And then there were some other videos where there were only 50 people. And there were some videos where there were only 5. There were some publications that I will get like a lot of shares, like 500 shares. There's some others that I will get only 5 shares. So you had to see, and you may be like, but I'm posting, I'm consistent, I'm posting at the same times. Yeah, but you have to also do your research and see what's changing. And if something is changing, make sure you're also changing your strategy too. If not, you're gonna get stuck, and you will be like, oh, this is not working anymore, and you may give up, or you may be like, okay, no. It just keep checking what's working, what's not working, and change things a little bit. Because another thing that Facebook is doing, they're recognizing words. So that what I used to work before for me on the videos, when I was recording a video, like doing a Facebook Live, and I will be, please share. If I will write, please share, before people will share and it will reach so many people, but now it doesn't, because Facebook wants real interactions, real connections. So make sure that you're not using those type of words. like click here, share this, and things like that. You want to create connections. And at the end of the day, you think about it, that's how we do the business. This business is about creating connections and connecting with people before you start giving them information. It's kind of same thing now with Facebook. You want to make sure that there is connection, there is communication between people, and it's not about just selling stuff. And so you have to do your research and see what's changing. So you make sure you change things around so you are able to see the results that you want on your business. So now that I'm working in a new market, which that I just started literally by being inspired by you guys. I was like, wait, why am I only posting in Spanish? I need to help more people. And I will some people reach out to me and be like, but I feel more comfortable with English. And I was like, oh, sorry, my groups are in Spanish. I was like, what I was thinking, So I was like, well, my team, we are bilingual. Some girls feel more comfortable in Spanish. Perfect. Some girls feel more comfortable in English. Great. We have the best of two. So now we start doing sneak peek to our healthy lifestyle in English, and we do it in Spanish, and we do a sneak peek to coaching in English and Spanish. So now we do everything in bilingual, so that way we make sure we attract people that are bilingual. I'm still kind of making sure, trying to understand what works on my Facebook, because people were used to seeing only posts in Spanish. So that's something that I'm still kind of playing with, just to see what works. I'm doing some videos. I'm writing in Spanglish, because I'm like, that's Carmen. Carmen is Spanglish, Sometimes I say something in English, so there's other times in Espanol. So I want to attract that type of person, right? That is like me, that will feel comfortable if I post something in Spanglish, and she will get it. So we're working with my team and trying to create a system that we already have a system for our groups in Spanish, but now we're trying to create or duplicate what we have in Spanish and do it in English, so that way we make sure we have everything for everybody. But my advice to you when it comes to getting into new market is, first of all, do it once you evaluate who you are. And if you feel like, I want to start reaching out to the Latinos, now with Mes de Mas, we have another amazing tool that we can use, and it will be easy for you, So, but think, who are you, and don't be afraid to show that your Spanish may not be perfect, because there's outreach out there that feel like, my Spanish is not, which your Spanish is amazing. Every time that we're chatting and on our little group for the group that we had together, you guys keep saying, no, but my Spanish is not perfect. I was like, what are you guys talking about? My English is not perfect. Yeah, but it just make sure you feel comfortable. And for sure, what helped me to feel this way is self-development. It's a must. Just as you brush your teeth, you have to make sure you do self-development every single day, because otherwise the comments of people around you, negative comments, are going to get to you. But who has the control of your emotions? They do, or you do? You do, right? And that's kind of how I tell my girls, think about your emotion like a control remote. You have that control. So if you want somebody to get you mad, it's like you're giving them your control. So self-development, it's what's helping us to make sure that control is always with us, and nobody is going to control how we feel, or nobody's going to influence the way we post in social media. Because, at the end of the day, you want to show who you are. You don't want to imitate other people, because eventually, if you put a mask, it's going to fall off. And people are going to notice, and actually that's more disappointing than not having the perfect post or having so many misspellings in a post. See? So does that make sense? But I don't want to just talk. So let me ask questions, so that way I make sure that I cover any questions that you guys may have.
You know what I love about you, Carmen, that when I asked you, okay, give me your accolades, you said mindset shift in what you said. And I'm listening to you, and I know that there's people on this call that are like, okay, so she matched her income as an accountant. So her husband and her are doing this full time. They have their lifestyle set up only on a Beachbody income. How is she doing it? How is she doing it? But I know from experience that it really is your mindset. You're doing the 4 vital behaviors every day, but it's just that you're thinking in a way of abundance. And how can I help more people? And how can I be more? And that's really what it is. Like she didn't come in here, guys, and I know you're amazing, but I want to say, like, you didn't tell us anything that we don't already know. You know, and there's so much to be said in that, because you're an example that if your mind is in the right place and if you are coachable and you apply yourself, you can get to where you are.
Correct. Yeah, and I mean, that's what I said. And I keep, like, that was me before, waiting for that advice that is going to change my life, waiting for that aha moment that people kept talking about. I was like, what is that when I feel it? Is it like, how should I feel it? And did it get here? And I realized, no, everything that we need to really be successful and do what we love is inside us. It's within us. Nobody's gonna make you more successful. Nobody can control your life. Nobody can control your success. I mean, not even my coach, Barbie. She's working mainly like all her businesses in English, and mine was in Spanish. And it was a limited belief, thinking that, well, she's doing this, I cannot be like her. You know, I have so many limited beliefs that I was ignoring because I was letting ego get in the way. You know, and everything is mindset. When I took the decision to go all in, there was no going back, especially after like a week or 2 weeks of not driving crazy hours to a traffic to my job, of not like just the feeling of freedom. I was like, oh hell no, I'm not going back to a corporate job, you know. And it may be that you have a corporate job, but think about it. You need to make some sacrifices, just like I did, to make this possible. And sometimes some people are not willing to do those sacrifices. And it comes to just organizing yourself and making sure that you're spending your time on the right activities. I used to be the most social person at my job. And then when I decided that I was going to go all in and I was going to make my part-time job my full-time job, I became the most like the antisocial person. Carmen, let's go to coffee. Oh, sorry, I have something to do. Carmen, let's have lunch. I'm sorry, I had to take lunch on my desk. And hey, I didn't care about, oh my God, they're gonna feel bad if I don't go with them to coffee, when for months I was the first one. Hey, let's go for coffee. You know, you have to think about that and evaluate the pieces of time that you have here and there, and see how I'm gonna use in that time. And am I being productive? Am I doing things that are getting me to the place where I wanna be? And that's what I'm saying. Like every week, make sure that you evaluate, and actually every day before you go to bed. Okay, how was my day today? What am I grateful for? What could I improve? Okay, next, then that means tomorrow I'm gonna do things in a different way. And don't feel like you need a lot of time to make this work. Honestly, with just doing a power hour, you will see huge changes, because it's so easy. And you hear that from like the top coaches. Power hour. I was like, what is that? Until I like, oh, okay, I know what they're doing. Now I'm like more social in social media, sending birthday messages to people, you know, and I'm connecting that way. And I'm going to see the people that are following me and doing some likes and leaving some comments, because again, we go back to social media is changing. So you have to make sure you're also changing. It's more about connection. It's more about interactions. So make sure you do that. So that way people continue seeing your posts on their timeline more often.
Yeah, that's a great point. We have to be able to adapt as our business changes. I have a question for you, going back to mindset. What do you do when you're in a slump? When you're having a bad day, bad week?
I'm like, what's slump? You see? The bajada. Okay. Which we always have. And actually, we always have, but I always go back to self-development. If I'm feeling like down, if I'm feeling disappointed, I make sure I listen to something that is going to lift me, you know, and And I also make sure I look and I keep track and something. That's why I'm a very visual person. And I mean, I cannot switch my computer right now, but if you see in front of my desk, there's photos of me, which something I was like, vision, what is that? You know, or I had like a long-term vision, which I still have like a inspirational board, but it was not for things this year. And mindset again, why not think about things that I want to do this year? And actually one of my, I'm getting rid of all my photos. One of the things that I said this year, nuestro equipo es un equipo elite. And I just posted that, and it's a reminder. And you know what? We're making it happen. I mean, we still have a way to go, but I believe in me. I believe in my team, and I know we're going to make it happen. For the past, 4 months, I've been on the top 100 of the company. I've been on the top 10 of the coaches Latinos. Why not? If some other coaches are doing it, why not me? You know, and I'm not comparing to anyone, because that's another thing. That was me before. And again, it's all mindset. I was always comparing myself with other coaches. Oh my gosh, she helped all these people. Oh, she has all these points, because I was thinking points. And I was like, oh, me too. I need to be there. But it was mindset, and I don't focus on that. And actually, I started getting notifications like 2 days ago, and I was like, oh, what is this notification? I was like, oh, Carmen, you have 60 to set a point, and my husband 21. I was like, oh my God, you know? So it was like a motivation, and it felt really good, because I don't focus on the points. I just focus on the people, on cambiando vidas. I focus on that. So I'm very visual. So I make sure when I'm having like a down moments, I see my photos, and that's like another way for me to think about, okay, Carmen, you have goals, you have girls that you want to help, they're getting so close to their goal. Make sure you keep focusing on helping your team to keep moving. Again, I'm visual, so something that I start doing to help me reach my goal of 30 people or more, putting it on writing. I try so many different systems to be organized. And I mean, like, for example, I start with metas de mayo, and I say that I wanted to recruit 15 jefas Latinas. So far we have 16 within the May 22nd. Okay, so this is just May. So having my list empty, it was a motivation to see, oh my God, we're gonna make it happen. And I said, I'm gonna help 4 girls to get to Emerald. So far I have 2, and I know there will be 2 more by Thursday. See, so it's like having these little visuals help me to stay motivated. I say 4 diamonds, and guess what? There's 2 girls that are pushing, and one officially is going to be a diamond by Thursday, and I have a second one that she's going to make it too. So there will be 2 coaches, 2 new diamonds in my team. I say 4, hey, shoot for the star, like they say, no? Something like that. I say, cambiando vidas. My original goal was 35. And you know what? So far it's been 41. And because I was like, it's May 16. Why am I going to set only with 35 when I know there's more people that we need to help? There's 58 Latinos in the U.S. I mean, 58 millions. My husband is next to me. 58 millions in the United States. Why am I going to focus only on like 3 people a month, 5 people a month, when there's so many, you know? And I get so many rejections. Like, you have no idea. I get so many negative comments. But you know what? My answer is next. And I keep going, because looking at my list and seeing, and I need to update it actually, and seeing that there's empty spaces, it's a motivation for me. Why? Because I'm visual. So what I'm trying to say with all of these, think about something that may work for you. You may not be like as visual as I am. Think of something that it may work for you. You know, it may be like having a reminder on your cell phone or stuff like that, you know? So that's gonna, and I don't know why Siri is typing. She thinks I'm talking to her.
You got good stuff right now. See what Siri came up with and put it in a post, because you just lit me up. I don't know about you guys, but I'm like so inspired right now. And then you wanted to turn around your computer, but we see all the words behind you too.
Oh yeah. See, yeah. It's all about like, I'm like, that works. Like, whatever that works to me. So I make sure I do it, and I have, you know, this is the energy that I want to create. So when I come into my office, I feel inspired. And that was the whole thing when I wanted to set up my office like this. Put words. Yeah, they look cute and whatever, but hey, I'm a girl boss. Hello, be you. Slay all day. Inspire, believe, love. Those are the words that move me.
And then you taught us something else without knowing it. It's just like your energy. You're such a light. I love your energy right now. And then you bring that to people through your social media. So that's why people want to work with you. You know, but that again is a result of your mindset and the personal development and the investment that you make into yourself daily.
Exactly. You know, and when it comes to personal development, something that I realized, which is very important, I'm sure many of you already know, is understand where you are. We go through so many stages in our life that maybe a book that Audrey's reading and she recommended, it may not speak to you. So look for something that is gonna help you on whatever you are. You know, like right now I'm like listening to more about leadership, about, you know, like stuff like that. A book like the 4 Agreements, I already mastered that, and I can tell you that it's already I'm good at it, because actually I use it as a reminder. Whenever I see a negative comment on my social media, I'm like, los cuatro acuerdos, which means remember that those 4 agreements, and don't let those negative comments get to you, because we can become a walking library. You can read and listen to all the audiobooks that all the top coaches are telling you, but if those books are not speaking to you at the moment, it's not gonna do anything to you. So just understand where you are and ask your leaders, okay, this is how I feel right now. What do you recommend? And because we already are like, we're reading so many books, so listen to audios, we can give you some suggestions based on how you feel right now.
Wow. Does anyone else have any questions for Carmen? I love this call.
I have a comment. Well, I have lots of notes. I'm also visual, Carmen. I'm also visual. Like, I'm like taking all these notes as you're speaking. But one of the things that I want to point out is that Carmen believes in herself, you know? And I think that that's one of the main things that I want everyone to take away from this call, is that, you know, we come into this business, and she was already believing in the company. She was an employee of the company, right? And then she believed in the products because she became proof the product works. She was drinking Shakeology, you know, back in the day. And then look at her transformation. And then she finally said she believed enough in herself to say, hold up, like, look at, you know, the changes that these people are making in their lives as coaches. I can do that. And she went for it, you know. But when you don't believe in yourself, when you have limiting beliefs, which I think that, you know, we all go through that process, you know, because she had those limiting beliefs, but then through personal development, she was able to kick them to the curb and say, you know what, no, I can do this. But you always had that deep inside of you, that belief that, you know what, I can make that happen. And I think it's super important. You know, I wrote all these notes, and then I bulleted like the most, the things that touch me, you know, the things that are speaking to me tonight. And I feel like it's important. I tell this to my team all the time, that it's so important to start your month and do your goals. Because if you don't have goals for that month, then it's kind of like shooting at blanks. Like, you don't know what you're doing. And just last night we did, you know, a Getting Started Right call for our Coach Basics. And we talked about that. We talked about the fact that, you know, you got to come in here knowing that you're going to help change lives. Because if you come in here, like you said, thinking points, people can read through that. People can sense that all you want is their money, and that, you know, it's like this, you know, it's a goal you're trying to meet without really trying to help them. And so you know, a lot of things just jumped at me from this call, and I'm appreciative of one of the main things is that you believe that you can make it happen, and that's why you're making it happen. So congratulations on all of your success to you and your husband.
Thank you. No, yeah, and I mean, of course, I was the queen of limited beliefs. You know, I come from a very small town in Mexico. We call it Ranchitos, which is like a little town. There's really only one like middle school, and that's it. Like to go to the city, you had to drive and take the bus, and I come from a big family. I'm number 11 or 12. You see, so there were so many things that I was using as a excuse. It was an excuse, because the more self-development I read, the more self-development I put in practice, which is the most important thing, that I start seeing results, and those results are helping me to even believe in myself even more. And I could have gave up a long time ago, because if you think about it, wow, Carmen's over almost 7 years and you're 1 star. People may think that, but I don't care. Honestly, of course, we have the goals of reaching like 5 stars and 15 stars, which I do have the attitude of a 15-star coach, and I know I can do it. I was like, of course, there is nothing different about me and Melanie. Well, yeah, it is. Maybe the action that she's taking, but I can be the next Melanie Mitchell. Why not me? So just believing on yourself and really, like you say, projecting that. So you have to make sure that you speak from the heart. You always speak from the heart, and you make sure that you also talk about the moments where you're not feeling good, and like be real, be yourself, because that's what people want to see. Even today, I did a video on my fan page about mes de más, and I was like, before I used to just not show my abs because I don't have abs. I still have my lojita, and I was like, oh my god. But I was like, no, Carmen, just show it like it is, and just be real. And of course, there was negative comments. A lady like posting, oh my god, you look fat and blah blah blah. I was like, look, I'm real. This is me. This is real life. I don't have abs. I've been like working very hard. They're still not there, but this is me, and it's just about that, showing you who you really are, and people are gonna they're gonna feel more connected to you when you're like, when you show who you are. Okay, water.
Action, right? It's all over the call. It's like taking action. I love what you said too, because a lot of people, like you said, do a lot of personal development. They're hoarders of information, but they never take action. And, we're all guilty of that because we're scared. But I think that through the personal development, we can break through the fears and just taking the action. And I think that that's, what stops many people, the fact that they're afraid that they're going to fail. But failing is success. That's what leads to success. And so if you never fail, you never succeed. So
you're not learning. If you're not failing, you're not learning.
That means you're not trying anything.
Right.
All right, guys, any other questions?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So my question is, I have like a ton of friends just because I'm very known in my community. And a lot of the people on my Facebook, I know some and I don't know a lot, but also my Facebook is, not that my Facebook is private, but I'm very private. Like people know that I don't share a lot. So I'm wondering, how do I come out with this when I usually don't, I don't usually post something unless it's like, I don't know, like my kid's birthday or something like that. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? It's just that it kind of feels like, oh, Suli is like this, I don't want to come off like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, it's kind of like I don't want to come off like I'm being fake, since it's usually not my personality to do these type of things. So I'm trying to figure out, how do I ease into, the social media, because I don't even have an Instagram or a Twitter or any of that other stuff. So I'm trying to figure out, how am I going to make this work?
Well, it's easy. Why do I say it's easy? Think about who you are. What are the qualities that you have? What talents do you have? Who is Sulimar? Write a list. You don't have to talk about everything. You don't have to be an open book and talk about all the private stuff that you don't want, but think at least 3 things that you want to show that it's really you. You're a mommy. Maybe you can talk a little about mommy life. You're a professional. You can talk about that. If you're like you have a special talent, you may want to talk about that. So not talking about personal stuff doesn't mean that you're not showing who you really are. There's private things that I don't talk about, you know, and I choose that. And that's the beauty, because once I know all who Carmen is, I can select from my list. And I know it's hard to think about you, because sometimes we're not used to talk about ourselves. We're not used to like reflect, and you're not sure, because I know some of my coaches were struggling with that. I told them, well, ask your husband, ask your kids, ask them, because they can help you to come up with a list of who you are, and then you select from that and be like, okay, well, you know, I want to show more about this positive girl, this guerrera, you know. So show things that are like that are kind of like portraying that piece of who you are. I don't know if that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So yeah, work on that. Write the list, and you decide. Okay, I came up with a list of 10 things, but I wanna talk about only 5. Okay, the other 5 may be more private, and eventually you may want to talk about it. You may not. You know, you don't have to give details when it comes to social media, and that doesn't mean you're being fake. It's just you choose. It's a personal life. It's a decision, and I mean, you're still attracting people that have things in common with you when you post about the other 5 things from your list. Yeah.
Okay. So to tag on to that. So I probably have like, I don't even know, like 500 friends requests that are pending, because I'm very picky about who sees my page and, you know, who's considered my so-called friend. So I'm also like, I don't know if it complicates things of how to just have one page that's also for like my personal life that I actually share and I am open with, because all my family is in Puerto Rico. So I do have personal stuff that I put on my page that I wouldn't necessarily want a stranger to just fully have access to.
Well, look, you don't, I mean, I have a lot of like friend requests, and actually I don't accept them because I already reached the maximum. But now people have the option to follow you, and they will see only the publication that are public, and you have that option to select. When you type in, you can select, you want this only my friends, or you want everybody to see it. So you can decide, or you can create like groups. You know, actually, that's the way I do. I have family groups, and we post everything that we want for the family there, and then I keep posting everything. But at the end of I'm very public. I'm very public because besides being a coach, I'm also a social media influencer and blogger. So I post about everything. But I still, if I want certain things only my family to see, I make sure I create groups that only my family are gonna see, or I go into groups, like the groups that we have for challengers, that it's my family, and I post there. That way you don't feel like, oh my God, okay, should I do this? And because that can make things more complicated for you, and you don't want that, you know. And also, don't be afraid to talk about beach party, about this lifestyle, because at the end of the day, you're not talking beach party, you're talking lifestyle. This is your lifestyle. You're not psychology, you're not at the programs, and it's also about how you share. I'm not gonna post a photo of Shakeology. I may post a photo not showing the sign and just talk about like a nutrient on the shake, like an ingredient, and be like, oh my God, now that I live this healthy lifestyle, it's I don't know, you can think about something that you want to say. It's like I told my girls, it's not the same thing when you post your breakfast with eggs and a spinach that you say, oh, my breakfast. People will be like, so? That if you post the same photo and say, this is my breakfast. Now, through this lifestyle, I learned the Spanish are really good for you because they provide fiber. I don't know. You can ask Google, and Google will tell you some of the benefits of spinach. So you can grab something from there and post it. Trust me, that post is going to provide value to people, and that's why people are going to keep looking for you, because you're informing them, you're educating them, and actually you're inspiring them to eat a spinach, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, and the thing about social media, like Carmen was saying, is you select what you post and who sees it, and it's your own voice, you know, and you're becoming comfortable, and you're going to grow a lot too as you go. So you're going to learn to really find your voice and how you want to portray yourself on social media.
Correct.
Thank you so much, Carmen. I really love this call. And I can't believe it was only your second call in English. Like, you totally rocked it. Totally
Thank you. I need to do it more often.
You will.
More calls in English.
And
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for having me. And I mean, if you guys have any question after the call, and you can let Audrey know, and I will be more than happy to follow up. But I mean, don't be afraid. At the end of the day, it's about enjoying this process and feeling comfortable sharing it. And the more and the more self-development you do, the more confident you will get to show who you are and make sure that you're inspiring other people, because honestly, this is about changing other people's lives, just as your life is changing. So always think about that. And as something that I tell my girls, even when you do a Facebook Live, don't be staring out at the comments, because you will get distracted and you will be thinking, and you will see yourself and you'll be like, oh my God, I have something in the middle of my teeth, oh my God, my lipstick is all over. Just look at the camera, connect with your audience. People can feel if you're like doing eye contact. Like, I'm doing eye contact right now. I'm not looking over here. I'm looking at the camera because I want to connect with you. And that's another cool thing about social media. You can still connect with people even if it's like through your phone, So just think about that, the message that you want to give to people through your posts or your videos, and just think somebody can change their life just by sharing a little bit more about my journey, and why not do it? So thank you for having me, girls.
Thank you for being here, right? Oh my God. I'm really inspired by everything you said tonight. Thank you.
No, gracias a ustedes.
Gracias. Que Dios te bendiga.
Igualmente a todas, y suerte, vamos para adelante, ¿ok? A cambiar más
Vamos
vidas.
por más.
Sí. Okay.
Bye, guys.
Buenas noches, bye.